How to create an info product in under 48 hours. Which is, why are you trying to do that, first of all? You know what? You've been searching that title and you're trying to create a product. I've got to tell you, first off, if you're desperate, I get it. Let me teach you how I've done that a few times in the past. I'm going to teach you how I do this and have done this personally, both as a brand new entrepreneur with no list, no following, nothing else, but then also as an experienced entrepreneur with a list, with the following, with people going and saying, what's your next thing? Let's dive on in, you psycho entrepreneur, you. All right, how do you do this if you're brand new and you're like, Steve, I'm desperate for a product? I get it, first off. When I left my job, I decided, and I was leaving my job at ClickFunnels. It was over 3 years ago as the time I'm making this video for you now. And I knew I needed to leave because I knew I was an entrepreneur. And you might feel that call, right? That might be why you're watching this. You're like, if you feel that pull, right? And the invisible hand, Adam Smith, right? You're like, oh my gosh, I gotta go make a product. I gotta be an entrepreneur. It's my calling internally inside. I get that feeling. We all do. It's why we do the psycho things that we do. So if you're brand new though, understand that there are some things you definitely are up against, okay? I do want to tell you that you don't need to create the product in 48 hours. But instead, what you might be really looking for is how do you get sales in 48 hours? So I'm gonna answer a little bit of both of those at the same time. When I was leaving my job, I didn't have any product. I barely had a list. And I had no revenue, no product, no sales funnel, nothing. And I decided that I would leave. I'm not encouraging you to do this, okay? It was nuts. But I left, and 4 days after I left, I had 21 grand in my hand. How did I do that? With no product? That's what I'm gonna teach you here, okay? Check this out. This all comes from what is called the seed launch. This is not my strategy, but it's a pretty common strategy. It's very good if you're brand new, okay? If you're new and you're like, oh my gosh, I need to have sales, how do you actually pull this off? The seed launch is fantastic because what you do is instead of focusing just on the actual product, you also focus on the sales of the product before you build it, which you should do anyway. Okay, so check this out. Here's how I did it, and here's the actual strategy that I used for it. So you do this strategy over about 8 weeks. But Steven, you said 48 hours in the title of the video. Now, you can start selling within 48 hours, but you still create the product over time. Just stick with me, I promise this will be worth it. Okay, so week 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I'll tell you that by the time I got to week 8 right there, I had about 150 grand in my hand, okay? And it was just me, man. I was bootstrapping out of a bedroom in my house. I get it, all right? I get it. It's negative cash flow, living on loans. My ex-wife at the time was pregnant with our 3rd kid. Okay, life that was stressful, okay? But this is still how I did it to, in 4 days anyway, have a lot of money in my hand and the first levels of security I ever had, okay? All right, so check this out. What I did is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. All right, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I promoted the fact that there was a webinar coming up on Thursday. So let's grab different colors here so they're easy to see as I go here. Okay, then Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I did the webinar and I followed up with people. But Steve, you don't even have a product yet. I didn't. All I did on this webinar is I told people, hey, I wrote a sales script, because that's all you really need to make money. You have to understand that a script creates desire and promise and what life looks like. It's the product that fulfills on the promise that your sales script made. Does that make sense? Your sales script creates promise and your offer just fulfills on it. That's the relationship between an offer and a sales message. So I can make a sales message and get sales without the product. That's what I'm teaching right here. Okay, check this out. So what I did, I wrote a webinar script and I sold. I had 20 grand in my hand that day. Okay, and I told them this is not done. I told them before they bought 3 or 4 times actually. I was like, hey, this thing's not done, but I'm gonna give you beta pricing. And I'm gonna go and I'm gonna create this product with you, 1 module at a time, so you get exactly what you need built. We're in sales, sell it. So I did. And then I said, if you could come and tell me, what are you struggling with, right? What are your questions in relation to what you just bought? They went and they told me they didn't realize they were making module 1's table of contents. Ooh. Okay, very next week, what did I do? I promoted, and then on very same thing, I did Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I did a webinar and I sold it. And what did I tell them? Hey, module 1 is about to be released. Come and join now at beta pricing. I spent that week, all right, I already did the work for this, for the webinar, so I just did it again. Then what I did though is I went and told everybody, hey, module 1 is being released. Ooh. All I have to do the whole week is just focus on creating a cool module 1 and release it at the end of the week. Guys, I followed the exact same pattern the next week. I'm not gonna keep drawing the whole thing here, but just for one more so you guys can see it. All right, I promoted All right, and then I did a webinar following. Hey guys, I have another really great video on how to write cool sales scripts. You can go check it out if you want to, okay? It'll tell you literally the script that I used for this. All right, anyway, so the webinar, I did the webinar, and all I did was focus on that week creating module 2, so on and so forth. Module 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, okay? By the time I actually finished, actually I think there's just 6 modules in that one. Okay, by the time I finished it though, 8 weeks had gone by and I had, like I said, 150, 200 grand in my pocket. And if you're like, Steve, that's psycho. No, it's just new, all right? And you've never heard this strategy. I have so many students that have pulled this strategy off and made lots of cash with it because you're building exactly what the market wants from you. There's hardly any risk. Right? Like, that's so risky to get money and then actually have to go build the product. It's like, actually, shouldn't that be how we do it anyway? Why would you sell something after you've made it? You don't even know if anyone wants it. That's the benefit and the protection of this cool strategy here. Let's dive into strategy number 2. What do you do if you're experienced? Now, I know that might seem a little psycho, but one of the benefits of it is that you get a big list really quickly, okay? You get a big list really quickly, and eventually I turned on ads, and that's how I was finding more people. Check it out. What do I do if I'm experienced? How do you create a product crazy fast, right? Even in 48 hours. I have done both of these strategies many times. They work very, very well. Okay, so if I'm experienced, how do I actually pull this off? Well, if you have a list, you have a following somewhere, email list or not, it's literally as simple as, it's like 3 steps. Okay, check this out. Number 1, you go to them and you say, hey, what are you all struggling with? And you collect a whole bunch of questions from people. And then you say, cool, thanks for telling me what you're struggling with. By the way, did you know I have a really cool event coming up? It's 48 hours long. And you guys can all come for free, or you can make them pay too. I've done both. Okay, so we run a little event. And this could be virtual. You don't need to go rent a big, massive hotel room or whatever. It could be a virtual. It could also be in person. I've also done both. They work really great. But what's the content? It's the answer to all their questions. And I just go on stage for 2 days and I teach the answer to all their questions. They made the table of contents for me. Woo, sweet cherry pie. That's some fun stuff right there. Okay, now the benefit of this is that you get 2 things from it. Number 1, you make sales. Woo! The second is the event created the product. There's a few times I've gone and run this strategy where the audience doesn't know I'm actually filming a future product. I did that about a year and a half ago as of me doing this with, well, no, about a year ago actually. And what we did is I sold people in an event, collected their questions, and then I filmed the future course. They did not know that's what they were attending. They just got the course for free, right? Scratched all backs involved, and now I have the product, I have all the stuff, and I sold right back to them if they wanted the replays and such, and it worked quite well. Before I teach you the outline that I use in either of these strategies, go and hit the like and subscribe button. It does help YouTube serve up more of our videos to you, and it also helps me know if you like them and if we should keep making them. I want to teach you how I actually create outlines for these courses now. If you look at both of these strategies, there's a commonality in both of them, and frankly, all entrepreneurship, and it's this right here. Questions, problems. What do you do with these to make an outline for your event or make an outline for the course that you're creating with your buyers, right? What I do is you have to understand that there's 2 introductions. And this is how I do it when, again, they may or may not know that I'm filming a future course, okay? But what I do is I will do the first intro number 1, and it's the welcome. And it's the welcome to the viewers. Hey, thanks so much for coming to this event. We're excited to have you here. You're gonna learn X, Y, and Z, 1, 2, and 3. It's just a general welcome. There's always 2 introductions in sales letters. The second introduction is the intro for the course. Now what that does is it tells me where I should chop after I've actually collected the video. So what I do is I introduce the course, and then I teach the course, and then I always stop and do a final Q&A session. Okay, and this allows me to do several things with this course. If you need to build a product in 48 hours, there's some repurposing you're about to go through, okay? So this is what I do. I've got video now, and I've got video of me introducing the topic, teaching the topic, and then Q&Aing with the audience. That's some really powerful video. But people will pay for the same thing repackaged in another way. Woo-bah! That's some good stuff right there. How many times have you bought a book and you turn around and you bought the audiobook? Same info, packaged a different way. Internet lets you do that really well. So this is video, right? I'm going to take this video and I'm going to get it transcribed. Now it's text or an ebook. I'm going to take the video and I'm going to rip the audio, and now it's audio, or is it really just now it's an audiobook? And now That's my course. So you're gonna get the videos, I'm gonna give you the ebook, and I'm also gonna give you, or sometimes I call it a workbook, and I'm also gonna give you the audiobook of the course as well. Now I'm getting 3 things instead of 1. And I've just repurposed them. The internet does that like crazy, by the way. That's not just my strategy. But it's because a lot of us consume differently. Some of you right now like to watch more than you like to read. Some of you guys like to listen more than you like to watch, right? And so what we do is we're just catering to each of those education and learning styles to better serve the person. So that's how I do it. If you're experienced, boom. If you're new, boom. Repurpose the stuff, and you literally have created a course in a matter of 48 hours. Got a free gift here for you. A little while ago, I asked a bunch of internet millionaires what they would do if they could only make a final offer, like that would fund the rest of their life. What would your last final offer be that would fund the rest of your life? They answered with some pretty cool strategies, because they not only taught what they would create, they taught how they would launch it. It's free. It's a free virtual summit. You can get it by going to yourfinaloffer.com.